Travis Wayne Goodsell. Whew. It's getting just too hot. And so as a result, I woke up in the middle of the night and went back to bed. So I woke up again at 4 to go running without stretching. So the song that I finished with was Billy Joel's Pressure, unless you consider the cool down walking period, which was Blondie's Call Me. And so in around 1999, rich scholars were emerging, publishing a new theory. Well, it wasn't a they hadn't developed it into a theory yet. They were making observations. Gary Greenberg published 101 Myths of the Bible. And because he didn't reference the Egyptian comparisons, because he had assumed that was basic knowledge, Christians raged in fury against him. Blasphemer! Evil, apostate, antichrist, you know, those Mormon stuff that Christians use. And Dorothy Murdoch. Also, her publications dealt with the New Testament, the Gospels. Gary Greenberg, the Old Testament, the Torah. There was in their midst another person who was not known to anybody in the world. He was not rich, but he had been educated and had been doing the research and had independently made the same observations and developed it into a theory, which the other two did not. Gary Greenberg is either too old or he's passed on. We just haven't heard from him. And then Dorothy tragically died on Christmas of 2015, as of course Christians cheered throughout the world, saying it was God's vengeance on her. But Travis, I mean, this unknown guy, remained in the shadows. Nobody knew of him, and he was just a youngster. He wasn't even 30 yet when he made his Paleo-Hebrew discovery. And like I said, he developed a theory. The theory, simply put, is that each and every single story of the Torah and the Gospels, if not some other scriptures, are all derived from Egyptian petroglyphs, such that you can reconstruct the Bible and even add to the Bible by referring to the petroglyphs in Egyptian, the stories of Egyptian. It's that simple. And so a case example is the Book of Ishtar. I mean Easter. No, I mean Esther. That's right. It's a Mesopotamian document. Mordecai, Marduk. So, the gods of Mesopotamia. And that's why Mormons, that John Welsh is way off base when he all led you astray by discovering the late war plagiarized in the Book of Mormon rather than Egyptian or Hebrew chiasmus in an Egyptian claimed text. Can't believe Mormons were that dumb. And so notice the main argument of Egyptologists when examining the papyrus scrolls of the Book of Abraham and the Book of Joseph. Where have we heard Joseph, Book of Joseph before? Book of Joseph, Book of Joseph. Maybe if we used Stick of Joseph, maybe that would jar some people's memories in the Mormon church. Exactly. It's your scripture mastery from Ezekiel 37. Right there in front of you guys, and you all missed it. But Egyptologists said, listen carefully, Mormons. We cannot find the Hebrew name Abraham in the Egyptian texts of the papyri. Anybody catch it? Oh, Mr. Carter! Stupid is what stupid deserves. If you're gonna be dumb, you better accept the consequences, exposing your stupidity. And so, how did Joseph Smith translate the Egyptian papyri? Well, one, he didn't finish. Two, it says in chapter 1, I refer you to the picture at the beginning of the book. Facsimile number 1. That's how he was making his translation. And so, Osiris, being the father god, was therefore compared to Abraham, Abe, meaning father in Hebrew. And so you could also put Isaac in that scenario. You could tell a whole story about Isaac getting sacrificed by his father Abraham, who was the high priest, who is Anubis. The high priest would actually wear the mask of Anubis. And so for Joseph Smith to put a human head, right on, he knew. It wasn't an Anubis god that actually performed the rituals in Egyptian temples. It was a man. Come on, people. And yet Egyptologists fool the populace into thinking that, oh, he's wrong to put a human head. And so, yes, I deciphered that the particular documents came from the Temple of Kamambo. It refers to gold in Egyptian. It's a temple in the southern portion of Egypt. But the church instead were threatened by my ability to translate. And so when I sued the church in 2008, the church had me arrested and disappeared so that I never went to trial. Case is sealed, so nobody could ever find out about it. My comments in the Deseret News were erased, so no one would know of my existence unless they found the comments of my comments, which exposed the stupidity of Mormons. The first stupidity was by a girl who said, "No, President Benson said don't watch R-rated movies, period. And they, of course, rejected my reply to her as I put the quote. There is no period. There's the word that. And then the other one was I was talking about the actual inventor, the ex creatio, messed it up. Creation out of nothing. The French Catholic priest who created out of nothing the Big Bang Theory in order to support the Catholic Church's Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. But some smart aleck who doesn't know a single thing came out and commented, "It was Hubble, dummy. Why do you think they call it the Hubble telescope?" Dum 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 dum. So now when you Google it, you see the French name all over the place now. But you won't hear that particular Mormon apologize, because he can't find me anymore. He thinks I'm dead. Oh, man. And so, yes, the church had me disappeared in 2008 when I filed my lawsuit, including the church in the lawsuit. Because in Utah, they don't like you complaining about their corruption. Not the government, not the church. You must obey. We speak for God. You're just a legislature? I speak for God. And so, yeah, I disappeared for 6 years. And then released. Just in time for the end of the world. As the tetrad begins. And Amazon came out with their system on the internet and began publishing through them. But now, pyramids, pyramid cities. That was my design as I look at it every single day when I turn on this computer and that computer, as I've showed you. And then I find the July 19th, 1840 speech by Joseph Smith, who said, yep, we're building temple cities. And so, Mormons, if you're wondering, remember I've been telling you about the Smiths being of the York Lodge, Hiram and Senior, and that the highest rank is the Knights Templar, and the Knights Templar are all about Solomon's Temple with Hiram Abiff. Let's see, Temple Solomon, and you do know that, of course you don't, it was my discovery from the decipherment of Paleo-Hebrew. The N at the end of names is the determinative for king. So it's King Solom, or Salem. Peace! Oh, the King of Peace! Yeah, so when the Hebrew author put King Solomon, he was being repetitive. Excuse me, burping Gatorade. He was being repetitive. You don't need to put king, you just put Solomon. But he did not know Paleo-Hebrew because the Jews got taken into Babylon. Remember the whole captivity thing that the Book of Mormon talks about? Let's see, Temple of Solomon. We need to put, let's try not. Yep, there it is. 2 Nephi chapter 5. And so Babylon, that instead of being a name, is a place. And so the N at the end of that then refers to it as a kingdom. Kingdom of Babel. Alright, so 2 Nephi chapter 5, verse 10, or 16. Why did you put me to 10? And I, Nephi, did build a temple. Now where is he? He's in the land of Nephi, and he's building a temple. And I did construct it after the manner of the Temple of Solomon. So immediately all those who know about the Freemason connections, they all say, oh, see, that Freemasonry. Partially. You gotta keep going. Say that we're not built of so many precious things. For they were not to be found upon the land. Oops. Because precious things were found on the land. He talks about it. Gold and silver. And so, yes, there's a specific reason why there's a contradiction. And so, again, you got to know the Knights Templar. You got to know the lore of the Knights Templar. Knights Templar were those commissioned by the Pope at the time to go dig at Jerusalem. And they went to Jerusalem, did some archaeological digs underneath what was considered the Temple of Solomon, the Kingdom of Peace. And remember, Jerusalem, peace. And so they were digging, and then all of a sudden they stop. We don't know why, but they go straight beeline to the Pope, and they get into a discussion, and we don't know what's said. But whatever happened, the Pope grants them knighthood and grants them wealth through industry by not only escorting pilgrims to Jerusalem, but also for them to provide provisions for the people pilgriming to Jerusalem. So the Knights Templar become big corp, providing the lambs for food and grain and all that stuff. It's a monopoly situation that's going on here with the Knights Templar. And so the Knights Templar get filthy rich and very powerful. Whatever they found, whatever they discovered, whatever they indicated to the Pope was enough for the Pope to say, you guys are now the biggest thing on earth. But then over time, they got too rich, too big. And a future Pope said, I don't like this, Sam-I-Am. And worked with one of the kings and said, we need to shut these guys down. I don't like this. They're too much involved with Egyptian gods and Egyptian records. Egyptian, huh? At Jerusalem? Huh. And so, Friday the 13th. Yep, Jason. Jason Voorhees emerged as the attempt to assassinate all of the Knights Templar at the same time commenced. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as well as they had planned, despite the lore, and a group fled to an island up in the upper off Finland, I believe, and then they worked their way with the Viking sailing vessels and made their way to America long before Columbus. And there were several locations that they went to. One was in the West Wisconsin, Kensington specifically, where the Kensington Stone is. It's in Knights Templar rune language, and gives us an exact date, confirming that it's Knights Templar and the date of which they founded America. And it's a land deal with the Mandan Indian tribe. Now, they show up later in history with the Lewis and Clark expedition, but and so the next spot is in southern Illinois. And despite what Wikipedia says, they're leaving out the Egyptian documents found in caves. And then in 1933, the President of the United States declared it a national park so that it could be sealed off from the public view. But again, remember, Joseph Smith wanted to establish the city of Zion and New Jerusalem in southern Illinois. He said also the city of Nauvoo. And so Nauvoo's in the northern Illinois, so he's referring to Zion and New Jerusalem in southern Illinois. And he's saying, I want to build them as pyramid cities. I, Nephi, did build a temple, and I did to construct it after the manner of the temple of Solomon. And of course, Joseph Smith talks about buried treasure, as he claims to have found the plates buried in the earth in western New York. And so, yeah, I mean, come on, guys. All of you get led astray by a certain historian who says, oh, well, it was just magic and folklore. No, it was the Knights Templar. The third place, if you're wondering, hey, wait, no, third. That was in Nova Scotia. There's a well that was built by the Knights Templar. And later, royalty from the Finnish or whatever came to that spot and established a palace there or something, a building. But that again was the Knights Templar establishing rights to the land to build New Jerusalem in southern Illinois. And I've already gone over this, but we'll go over it again after I talk about this well. In the well, people eventually worked their way down into the well because there was talk of treasure, because at one of the levels down there, there was a note, whether on stone or whatever, saying, below this point, there is treasure. Oh, wow, treasure, woo, let's go! They proceeded to go down further. It was booby-trapped. The thing flooded. So nobody knows because it was flooded. and thus buried treasure. Come on, people. Remember, the Smiths were in the York Lodge, Knights Templars, the highest rank. Where do you think they got the knowledge of buried treasure from? Egyptian. Come on. And so Southern Illinois. What's so special about Southern Illinois? Huh. Anybody ever pay attention to the 21st of August, 2017? Come on, it passed right over Independence, Missouri and Adam-on-Diamond, Missouri. And then there's another one. On 8th, not 6th of August, or April, 8th of April. Huh. Why could they be off by 2 days? 2024. Guess where it crosses? It does pass over Kirtland, Ohio, and the farm of the Smiths. It crosses over Southern Illinois. Guess what they call that place? Little Egypt. Huh. Egypt. Temple of Solomon. Egyptian documents. Buried treasure. Pyramid City. Huh. Huh. But it's okay, Mormons. No need to worry. You failed. Joseph Smith said it needed to be built before the man-child, Christ, the Son of Man, came. And you failed. The dates have all occurred. The signs have all happened. No city of Zion. No city of refuge from the war in the world. Peace has been taken from the earth. Coronavirus has spread everywhere, and there is no city of refuge because the Mormons failed. Joseph Smith was murdered. His kingdom, which wasn't going to be a kingdom, he was going to work within the United States. It was going to be the city of Zion in the United States, the city of New Jerusalem in the United States. They were going to be subject to the American government and the U.S. Constitution. Brigham Young, however, didn't like that idea, fled America, occupied Mexico, created his Kingdom of Deseret, and became king. Big difference. So, guys got to pay attention. It's the end of the world. And we're all doomed because we have nothing to show for it. I mean, we've got Utah that claims to be Zion. And yet, how are they treating people? Oh, let's see. They shut down the homeless shelter that housed 1,100 people, which was not enough. They needed more beds than 1,100. Now let's do the math. They then decided to create, after the fact, 3 shelters totaling 700 beds. 400 beds less. Now, is that God's way, or is that some other way that demonstrates hatred towards the homeless? I guess I need a rocket science degree to figure this one out. And so segregation. Yes, Genesis group. You white Mormons in your white churches, when a black person appears in your ward for the first time, what do you instantly tell them? Welcome to our ward. Do you know about the Genesis group? Go there. Women. Why do you think you had to create the ordained women group? Oh, but they allowed you to wear slacks now. They gave Eve a bigger speaking role. Oh, yay. But wait, they changed the law of chastity. Wait, what? Wives? Huh? It's no longer legally and lawfully? Huh? What's up? What are they up to? Wait, section 132 says polygamy is essential to exaltation. What else is essential to exaltation? Being a high priest. Oh, wait, didn't Nelson take away the high priest office from the elders? And all the high priests are going to be grandfathered out as they were sent into the elders' quorum? Huh. What are they up to? Almond Oaks. Trust in the Lord? October conference? Last year? Polygamy? Trust in the Lord? What? What's going on? Yes, women, you're being played. They hate the poor. They're not giving to the poor. They're instead giving to charities. A token amount of food to charities. To the one here in Utah, the food bank. One in Idaho. One in Virginia. One in New York. What's going on? They are a charity. They've got temples or welfare square. They've got bishop storehouses. Why haven't they built upon that to expand it throughout the world? What's going on? What do you mean temporary, Bishop? What do you mean I gotta work for it? I'm disabled. I'm elderly. What do you mean I gotta pay tithing with my Social Security money? What do you mean I can't go into the temple unless I'm a full tithe payer? Come on, guys. Get a clue. This isn't Zion. This is hell on earth. And so, yes, the Radio from Hell show with Carrie, Bill, and Gina, are they still in existence? I don't listen to the radio anymore. Is radio still a thing? Those guys were awesome. KXRK, Provo, Ogden, Salt Lake City. Yep. And, of course, you know, other Mormons call it HE double hockey sticks. Come on, say it. Say it with me. Hell. But it's a 4-letter word. Dum 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 dum. South Park, guys, come on. Whenever I say dum 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 dum, I'm referring to the South Park episode of Joseph Smith in the First Vision. Is it little Billy who spends time with the new Mormon family that moved into the neighborhood? Or is Billy the little boy of the Mormon family? Oh, please, Daddy, tell us the story again of Joseph Smith. Martin Harris's wife. Smart, 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 smart. It's just hilarious. Alrighty. So that's it. And here we go, down here. He had caused a cursing to come upon them, even a sore cursing because of their iniquity. You've been cursed, Mormons, and you don't even recognize it. For behold, Mormons had hardened their hearts against him, and they had become like unto Flint, Michigan. What was done to the people in Flint, Michigan is atrocious. They still haven't even fixed the problem, but they've stopped giving them the water they need, the bottled water. Man, anything. And it happens here in Utah too. Moroni City just got dinged with nitrous or whatever it's called. You can't boil the water even. How are they going to fix that? It's the end of the world, guys. And Mormons failed. They did not build the cities necessary as refuges from the storms. You don't even have a house, let alone one built on sand.